What is up, guys? Right now I'm sitting in the car. I'm about to head out to Walmart and see what I can get for a cheap Bluetooth head unit. I want Bluetooth, but if they're too expensive, I'll just be a cheap ass and buy one that's not. Recently, the head unit for this car tanked on me, and it's sitting down here. It's shorted out somewhere internally, and it keeps popping fuses. It either pops the fuse in the back of it, or it pops the fuse in the fuse box of the car. And I don't know if it's related to this wiring harness or not, but I'm just gonna go buy a new head unit because that thing's not really worth shit anymore. That thing's probably got a few years on it, and I don't know if it's the harness for the radio, or if it's the adapter harness for the car, or if it's the radio itself. And I really just don't want to mess with it. And if I can put a new head unit in here, a new harness and everything, and it still does it, I can fix it. But I really wanted to get a Bluetooth head unit because having the auxiliary cords is kind of an inconvenience all the time. So I'm gonna head out to Walmart, see what they have. If they don't have anything I like that's cheap enough, we will be heading a little bit further out of town to go get one. So we're gonna head out to Walmart, see what they've got, and hopefully pick something up there. If not, I'm gonna be heading about an hour away to go pick one up. Alright, so we got the head unit sitting right in here. This thing was 20 bucks. I'll give you guys a better look at it in a little bit, but I did not know these things were getting that cheap. Hopefully this thing's not a piece of shit. But I gotta go check the auto stores and see if they have the radio wiring harness adapter for that right there, because they don't have it here. So hopefully one of the 3 auto stores we have in this town will have one if it's a Volkswagen. Alright, so I'm in the house. I have everything. Unfortunately, nobody had the adapter harness for the Volkswagen, so I'm just going to attempt to recycle the old one, and hopefully the old adapter is still good, and it appears to be alright just by looking at it. So this is the adapter harness right here. It's got the connectors for the old head unit on the end, and then right here is what would attach to the plugs inside of the car. So basically what the adapter does is you'd plug, of course, the stock harness for the stock radio in your car into this, and it basically color codes or color matches the wires coming from your car to the same colors that the ones on the aftermarket head unit is, rather than you having to chase wires and figure out what color it is. So because, for example, this yellow wire is the 12 volt positive wire, and on this harness it's a yellow 12 volt, and on the radio harness it's a yellow wire, but in the car it could be gray, brown, orange, something crazy like that. So that's what this thing does, is it takes all the hard work of chasing wires around out of it, and it also allows you to install a radio without chopping this car's stock stuff apart. And it also allows you to assemble the stuff without being in the car or anything. So it's a lot more convenient. And here is the head unit. I shit you not, this thing was $20. Hopefully it doesn't take a dump on me really quickly. I realize it's dual, but it should do the job just fine. I wasn't looking for anything crazy. That's it. It's really, really light. And you'll notice it's really compact because it doesn't have a CD drive in it. This is Bluetooth, auxiliary, and USB, and that's it. And that's exactly what I wanted, was something Bluetooth, and I don't need a USB, so this is perfect. It looks alright so far, but we haven't tried to use it yet, so hopefully this thing works out pretty well. I'm pretty excited about finally having Bluetooth. And what is the back? It uses a standard size fuse in the back. That's interesting. Most of them use mini ones. This uses just a regular size, which is kind of nice. It's got plenty of subwoofer output. It's got a total of 4, so you could hook up, well, 2 different sets of RCA cables up to it, and antenna wire, and that's where the stock harness plugs in, which is right there. I don't have a clue what the hell those metal things are. And that's everything that's in the box. So just toss this shit over here somewhere. Alright, so in that bag there's a cheap remote, which I'm honestly just going to toss in the trash, probably, because I'll end up losing it anyway. harness is in there. I don't know what the fuck those keys are unless they go in here or something. And that's all that's in there, and then the harness. So I'm going to get all this stuff out of the bag, take a look at it. I'm also going to cut the old radio harness off of the adapter, and then we will begin assembling this. Alright, so I'm waiting for the soldering iron to warm up a little bit before I can fix the adapter. So let's just go over the tools you're going to need to do this job. So first thing is you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and this, I'm just using this cheap pocket knife, but it has a Phillips head attachment and a flathead attachment in it, so it works perfect. This you'll need to remove your head unit, and you can use the flathead screwdriver to remove panels, or if you don't really care about damaging panels that much, or you can get the plastic pry tool, which I have somewhere and never use. So Phillips head and flathead screwdrivers, you'll probably want to get shorter, smaller ones, because a lot of the time you're going to have to be fitting your screwdrivers in kind of cramped, tight places in the interior, so you don't want a giant one. Cable cutters and strippers. This is the absolute cheapest ones you're going to find. You got these holes right here to strip the wire. You got the cutter right there. You can also crimp butt connectors and stuff inside of this, and I'll go over that in a minute. And then you obviously need the wiring adapter. Prefer to get a new one that doesn't have to be resoldered and stuff, but you know. And then you need the harness for the head unit itself, of course, and you need the head unit, which you got sitting down there right now. And then if you're soldering, you need to have heat shrink, a lighter. This lighter was $1. A soldering iron. This thing was like $5 at the auto parts store, so I bought it. And heat shrink is a couple bucks. And of course you need the solder. This is just cheap stuff that you get from the auto store as well. And more heat shrink if you're going to go the soldering route, which is what I very strongly recommend. You're going to get the best connection. It's going to last a lot longer, going to be the most durable and the cleanest looking. However, if you don't have one, don't want to buy one of those, even though the cost of all that stuff to do the soldering, you get, say, $1 for a lighter. Let's just call that $5. Just call this $5, even though it's less than that, and call that $5. You're looking at $15 to be able to solder stuff. You're cutting yourself short if you're not doing it, but you can get these. Are called butt connectors. You can use these as well. I've used these in the past, obviously, and they do the job. They just don't look as clean. They aren't as durable, but you basically strip the ends of the wires, slide them over, take your wire crimper, and you just smash the metal part inside of it down onto the wire. And so, like, the radio harness go in one side, and the adapter harness would go on the other side. Never ever do the electrical tape crimp, which is basically where you twist wires together and then wrap a bunch of electrical tape around it and call it good. That's ugly. It comes apart. It causes shorts. It causes you to burn wires up, blow fuses. Never do it. Always either solder or butt connectors. Never do the ghetto crimping, ghetto head unit installation stuff where you literally twist wires together and use electrical tape. And don't use those, ever use, what are they called? They're the little caps that thread on top of the wires. Don't ever use those either. The things you use in your house for lights and stuff, never use those either. Butt connectors or solder, nothing less. Otherwise, your head unit will do what my old one was doing probably. So, this soldering iron should be warm enough for me to repair that wire right there. And then we will begin attaching these together. Now, on this harness, they already stripped the wires for me a little bit. All I gotta do is twist them together, strip this harness, which probably originally was already stripped, but since it's being reused and recycled, obviously we can't do that. But we're gonna just simply strip all the wires and solder them together. I'm gonna prop the camera up over there somewhere and do a time lapse of the soldering process, and then we'll be ready to go out to the car and attempt to install this thing. Alright, so I got the entire harness completely soldered in heat shrunk, and here it is. So I got two wires that I'm not using. One is this orange wire, which is a dimmer wire. The previous head unit used it, I think, but this cheaper one does not. And then there's this blue wire. This is a signal wire if you get like an amplifier or something hooked up for a system. That's what this is. I'm going to end up capping those two off once I get out to the car, but all the stuff to do that is in the car, so I'm not going to do that right now. But harness is built, and now we're ready to go outside and attempt to plug this thing in and see if it works. So I'm going to take all the stuff outside and we're going to give this thing a shot. Alright, so now that you've got the harness done, all you do is you come in to your stock wire harness and you simply plug it into the adapter harness, which is already done here, and then you just plug the harness into the back of the radio, put your key in the on position, and boom, your radio turns on. And this head unit is functioning properly, not blowing fuses or anything, so I'm pretty sure it was the old head unit or the old head unit harness that was causing issues. Now, I'm not going to go over like putting it in the dash or removing it from my car. I literally just press it into here and that's it. A lot of cars, especially newer cars, you got a lot of things you got to remove, and it varies a lot depending on the car, so I'm not going to go into a lot of removing trim panels and stuff. The only advice I can really give you is to be patient and be very gentle with the stuff, because it will break, and they like to hide screws and bolts everywhere, and there's a lot of really tight clips and stuff that just don't like to come out, so be very gentle with them or they will break and not go back in properly, and you'll end up with rattles in your interior, and nobody wants that. So now that the head unit is in, everything is done and ready to go. I'm going to finish installing it into the dash. Obviously you have to hook up your antenna, and my car uses just a standard antenna. Some you'll have to get an adapter to be able to hook the stock antenna up into the back of the radio. Like I said, mine uses just this car just has a standard type that all the aftermarket radios have, which is very fortunate for me. Take these little caps, you can buy these at the auto stores, normal connectors. Take these and slide them over the end and crimp them to the wires you're not using. So for example, this orange and white wire, I'm going to slide one of these on, crimp it on, just so that I don't have a live wire or anything hanging around. For example, I don't know if that's a live wire, but this blue wire is, and if it grounds out on something, it's going to pop fuses and potentially fry this cheap radio, which probably isn't going to last me very long. So I'm going to get these in, hook the antenna up, put this thing in, put the rest of my dash back together. There's only two pieces missing, and then we'll give this thing a test. Alright, so let's turn the key on. Head unit is all in. My car, all the stuff is missing to actually secure it, so it just kind of flaps. But we got static coming in, so it's all hooked up. And just see if it'll automatically select a station here. Or it's probably scanning right now, honestly. Possible, while still providing the quality service you want. So obviously it works. Unpaired, so that should be Bluetooth right there. Yep, so the Bluetooth is on. Let's get on the phone here. Scan for devices. Nothing is available. What the fuck? Oh, no, never mind, it came up. Okay, that took it a minute, but it did come up. It's probably my phone being shit. Let's select dual media player. I'll get to play a song for like 5 seconds. Oh, what the fuck? There's a pin. I'm pissed. I gotta go get the instruction book and find the pin for this fucking thing, and then we can connect. Alright, so the pin for the dual head unit is 1, 2, 3, 4. They more than likely just put a pin on it so that devices don't try to fight with each other to get onto it. And we are connected, and it says right on the screen that we're linked. And it started playing automatically, so which is awesome. Let's go to the music app, and let's see if I can change the song from this. Oh, hell yes. I don't have to use the phone to do it. This is the future right here. This is great. I've never had any Bluetooth head unit before, so this is really exciting to be able to change the song from the head unit and not have to look at the fucking phone. But, yeah, that's how to install a head unit. And all in all, this cost me like, it literally cost me $20 to do it. And if I'd had to buy the soldering gun and the adapter, it would have been probably another $30, so 50 bucks. Hopefully this thing holds up because I really like it. I really like how slim and light it was. And it looks good. It lights up blue, which actually fits, you know, my kind of racer theme on the car. And it's a really nice, clean looking head unit, and it doesn't feel super chintzy and light. I had a dual in the past, and it didn't do so well. In fact, the CD drive didn't work out of the box. But this one seems to be doing great, and I got a call button. There's a mic up here, and it's got a call button, so I'm guessing I can call people through Bluetooth. I'll have to mess around with it, but for $20, you can't beat this thing. This thing was at Walmart. If you want one of these, grab them. I'll probably do a follow-up review in a few months. Let you guys know how well it works for being that cheap. But for me, all I wanted to do is have Bluetooth connection for music, so this works great. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next one.